This tough guy pulls out 2 large cans of gasoline from his truck and walks up to the 2 security guards.
I'm going inside. I'm going to burn it down.
The guards think he's a lunatic and try to drive him away.
You're not going anywhere except right the back the way you came.
But the man doesn't back down. He tells them the building is full of scammers who specialize in conning the elderly out of their money.
You aware this is a criminal outfit? Do you know that's who you work for?
But the guards don't care and begin counting down.
1, 2, 3. There.
The next second, the man takes both of them down and walks into the building. The room is packed with employees of the telecom fraud company. The man stands in the middle and demands that everyone repeat after him.
I will never steal from the weak, the vulnerable again.
Instead, they all burst into laughter. He grabs the man next to him and makes an example out of him. Everyone is stunned and starts repeating after him.
I'll never steal from the weak and vulnerable again.
Afterward, he begins pouring gasoline all over the computers. The boss rushes over, assuming the man is insane.
This is a multi-million-dollar operation.
But none of the bodyguards here are a match for him. He knocks them all down one by one. He mocks the boss,
But you feel really proud of yourself.
then connects a phone line to a bomb. The moment a victim calls in, the whole place blows up. The man's name is Adam Clay. After retiring from a secret program named the Beekeepers, he now lives in the property of Eloise Parker, a retired school teacher, who was kind enough to lease the garage to Adam when he had nowhere else to stay. In his harsh and brutal life, Eloise is only one who ever showed Adam genuine kindness, treated him like family, and he holds her in deep regard.
I just wanted to thank you. No one's ever taken care of me before.
But 3 days ago, Eloise took her own life at home, shooting herself in the head. That afternoon, Eloise, who is using her laptop, encounters a fake virus alert that urges her to call a helpline. Oblivious to the scam, she dials the number in a panic and is connected to a slick but fraudulent call center operation known as UDG. The call center is run by Mickey Garnett, a smug and ruthless scammer who thrives on exploiting the vulnerable, with his team listening in and laughing in the background.
Now, our records show that you actually have an older version on your account, so what I'm going to need you to do is uninstall that and install the latest version.
Mickey tricks Eloise into downloading a fake antivirus software. Although she is hesitant at first,
What I would recommend, you take your computer to an IT specialist. However, keep in mind that you will lose all your data.
Eloise complies when he warns her that she could lose all her data on the laptop if she finds an IT specialist. Garnett claims he can help Eloise remotely and lures her into their website. The team at the call center is thrilled when they discover that the software gave them access to her personal and financial information, including over $2 million.
Holy shit! On a $2 million account.
It was her hard-earned money from working as a school teacher and the money of the charity she manages. Right after that, Mickey claims that he would credit back the subscription fees worth $500 into her account due to the inconvenience caused. However, the software shows that $50,000 has been deposited into her charity account instead. With suspicion rising in her, Eloise questions Mickey about the matter. Putting on a regretful tone, the man claims to have transferred the wrong amount to her accidentally.
I'm gonna lose my job here. I got kids. I got kids.
Fearing the mistake would cost him his job, the soft-hearted Eloise agrees to return the money. To return the money, she need to enter another account password, which would allow Mickey and his team to gain access to her assets.
Now this is the master password for all her accounts. Okay, so the second we get it, we zero out everything.
Just when everyone at the call center is holding their breath in excitement, Eloise's fingers hovering above the keyboard pause as feelings of doubt overwhelm her. She considers calling the bank for verification. Nevertheless, Mickey was not going to let this chance of a lifetime slip through his fingers. He reminds her that he might lose his job, and she could lose her data.
There goes my job. And there goes all your data.
At the thought of her children's photos stored on her laptop, Eloise eventually enters her password. Just like that, Eloise's account is completely wiped out in a matter of moments.
That is what I am talking about!
Meanwhile, Adam is occupied with his bees and extracting honey, completely unaware of the catastrophe happening to Eloise. Eloise is devastated by the betrayal and the loss of her life's work. Her sorrow is too much to bear. Later that evening, Adam heads to the house since Eloise invited him for dinner earlier on. He also brings a jar of honey as a gesture of friendship, but when he arrives, he finds the door ajar and the house completely pitch black. Sensing something is wrong, he cautiously enters with a knife in hand, only to be joined moments later by Eloise's daughter, FBI agent Verona Parker. The woman harbors a deep-seated suspicion towards Adam, whom she is meeting for the first time.
Who the are you? And what are you doing in my mother's house?
While she questions his motives, the two discover Eloise's body, dead from a self-inflicted gunshot wound, with a discharged pistol and bullet nearby. The police arrived at the scene shortly. Assuming Adam murdered her mother, Verona has him arrested. As she interrogates him with the police, Adam tells them that he is a beekeeper renting Eloise's barn. Nevertheless, he was unable to explain the reason for his intrusion into Eloise's house. Adam is then taken away by the police officers. Later on, Verona returns to her mother's house to search for clues to her mother's death. Upon checking Eloise's laptop, she realizes that all her financial accounts have been cleared out.
Oh my God.
The next day, the police informs Verona that Adam's hands tested negative for gunshot residue, and the prints on the gun were her mother's. Since it's ruled a suicide, Adam is cleared of suspicion. Verona goes to the barn to apologize for her attitude yesterday and offers him a drink. As they sit down for a drink in the house, Verona thanks Adam for taking care of her mother, expressing regret for not fulfilling her role as a daughter.
I tried to stay in her life as much as I could. Obviously, I could have done a better job.
She also begins to understand just how close Adam and her mother truly were. While flipping through photos of her late brother, who was a Marine raider, Verona comments on Adam's resemblance to him, the reason why her mother was fond of Adam. Right then, a memory from last night struck Verona, prompting her to reveal that Eloise was scammed.
Somebody emptied out all her accounts. Her savings, her retirement, got every penny, maxed out all her cards.
After asking a fellow agent in the cybercrime department, she discovers that although the organization has been operating for 2 years, its name and other information are still a mystery. Moreover, it will be difficult to build an indictment against them in court. After all, the case could be easily dismissed if the defense attorney argues that it was the elderly woman's own will to give up her life savings to a stranger. Adam expresses his despise for those who prey on the elderly.
Taking from an elderly person is as bad as stealing from a child.
For they are the ones usually forgotten by society. However, Verona is determined to avenge her mother. Grief-stricken and burning for justice, Adam decides to take matters into his own hands. Though he excuses himself to tend to his beehive, Adam discreetly fishes out a mysterious phone hidden in his bee box. He dials a number that reaches out to the secretive organization, the Beekeepers. Desperate to track down the scammers, Adam leverages his connection with the Beekeepers to dig out information on them.
Even the FBI can't find these people.
Well, we're not the FBI, are we? Show me the deets and stand by.
Although they are elusive, Adam manages to get intel that points him toward the UDG call center. Armed with 2 gas cans that destroy the whole building, Derek Danforth, the arrogant CEO of Danforth Enterprises, is having a good time at his company, a stark contrast to his victims. Mickey, having survived the explosion, reports the incident to the man, who is evidently displeased with the interruption.
This dude just strolls in and he burns the place to the ground. Yeah, the call center's gone.
Derek's company secretly bankrolls UDG and several other fraudulent data mining operations. After hanging up the call, he attempts to get intel from Wallace Westwild, his head of security and a former CIA director, but his efforts are futile.
I just need a name.
Well, you won't get it from me.
Undeterred, Derek orders Mickey to search through their database and send a team of mercenaries to hunt Adam down. Meanwhile, Verona, who is still grieving from the loss of her mother, receives news from fellow Agent Wiley on the explosion at UDG. She rushes over to check out the situation, only to discover that all the CCTV footage is gone due to the fire. The only people who saw the perpetrator were the receptionist and the scammers. Having found the ones responsible for Eloise's death, the enraged Verona demands their identification. At the same time, both agents come to realize the severity of the situation. Mickey and his men soon show up at the farmhouse, having traced the lead to Eloise. At first, they are unsure if they found the right place. However, they recognize Adam's pickup truck at the front of the house, and the man's timely appearance proves them right. The men follow his truck to the barn where they discover his beehives and shoot at them for vengeance. Unbeknownst to them, Adam is already several steps ahead. He turns on all the machinery in the barn, awaiting their arrival. After driving into Adam's garage, the men start tearing his workspace apart.
Where you at, B-boy? Well, come out and fucking face us!
In no time, Adam ambushes and kills 3 of them one by one. Left on his own, Mickey begs for mercy, but to no avail.
We can talk about this.
In a calculated act of retribution, Adam amputates Mickey's fingers using a bandsaw, leaving him to groan in pain on the ground. At the UDG building, Verona is interrogating one of the scammers when she receives shocking news that a fire broke out at Eloise's house. While she contemplates the whole incident, the authorities uncover a dead body, identified as someone from UDG. Wiley brings up his suspicion that Adam could be the one behind both fire incidents, which reminds Verona of something. On a bridge somewhere, Mickey is whimpering in pain in the driver's seat of a truck. He calls up Derek, who expects good news, but hears Mickey's cries instead.
Yeah, my fingers on my right hand. He cut them off.
Infuriated, he demands information on Adam, but Derek only knows him as a beekeeper. Right then, Adam appears out of the blue and throws a punch at Mickey's face. He then pulls the man out of the car, strapping him to a truck. While on the phone with Derek, Adam makes sure he hears every moment of Mickey's final seconds. Before hanging up, Adam promises Derek that he's coming for him next. Disturbed by what he's hearing, Derek gets Wallace to dig into Adam's background. The only clue they have on him is that he calls himself a beekeeper. Suddenly, a thought strikes Wallace as he comes to a shocking realization. Adam is a former beekeeper, part of an elite off-the-books intelligence organization designed to protect national stability from the shadows.
If a beekeeper says you're going to die, you're going to die.
Wallace realizes they've picked a fight with someone far more dangerous than they imagined. Though he despises Derek and the nature of his business, he previously accepted the role at Derek's company as a favor to Derek's mother. But now that Derek has gotten on the wrong side of a beekeeper, there is nothing Wallace can do to save him.
You're a drowning man.
Meanwhile, Verona and Wiley continue investigating the case on UDG. Not only do they uncover Mickey's identity as a mob associate, but they also come to realize how massive the operation behind the call center is, most likely controlled by a central office. However, they are still unable to find any intel on Adam. It is as if the man never existed.
Adam Clay doesn't exist, which is terrifying to me because he's probably in a classified program.
Right then, Wiley receives a call informing him that Mickey has been found. Wallace receives a call from Derek's mother, Jessica, who is the current president of the United States. Worried about Derek's current state, she pleads with Wallace, her former love interest, to protect her son at all costs, not forgetting to pull at his heartstrings.
I still think of you. Sometimes.
At the same time, Wallace reaches out to CIA Director Janet Howard to help neutralize Adam. At the bridge, Verona is shown Mickey's corpse, which is missing several fingers. Late at night, Janet calls Wallace and informs him that Adam is a retired beekeeper, but she has arranged for an active beekeeper named Anisette Landers to eliminate him. Adam is at a gas station when Anisette ambushes him, first trying to run him over and then opening fire with a handgun. Adam fights her off, but she escalates, unloading a massive machine gun while Adam dodges. In a moment of calculated brutality, Adam hurls a jar of honey at her before setting her ablaze, killing her. He then removes her index finger and keeps it, knowing it will come in handy. News of Anisette's death reaches Janet, and she informs Wallace that the Beekeepers, recognizing the escalating personal vendetta, declare neutrality.
How can they do that? He was their man, for fuck's sake.
They will not interfere further, throwing Wallace into a state of panic. Meanwhile, Verona and Wiley continue digging into the mystery at the burned-down petrol station, where they discover a beekeeper's handbook in Anisette's car, suggesting that she and Adam are alike. Verona begins to connect the dots between Adam and the wave of destruction following the scam. They then make their way to Boston, where Adam is also headed. Wallace, now desperate, assembles a team of elite mercenaries and briefs them on who the Beekeepers really are. Highly trained operatives deployed to correct systemic corruption globally, working outside traditional government boundaries.
If you were in the same room, he would kill you.
He warns them that Adam is on a personal mission and won't stop until Derek is dead.
It's one mission: to keep the system safe.
Just like how bees don't stop working until they accomplish their goal. While Verona and Wiley discuss about bees in the office, they are notified that the deputy director is coming to meet them. Adam uses Anisette's severed finger to access a hidden beekeeper facility, where he extracts the location of Derek's next operation, Ninepoint Center, a massive call center headquarters. He then takes some of the equipment from the facility and suits up for battle before heading to Boston. At the same time, Deputy Director Prigg meets up with Verona and Wiley to discuss about Adam's case. Verona briefs him and his special counsel, Amanda Munoz, on Adam's background and his possible next course of action. When asked the reason behind his rampage, Verona explains that he is simply protecting the hive.
He's, protecting the hive, sir. It's what beekeepers do.
To their delight, Prigg gives them the green light on an FBI raid on the 9 Points building, even providing all the resources and manpower they need. The executive at 9 Points, Rico Anzalone, is in the midst of hosting a roll call session with the employees.
Phoenix is up 201K. New York City's up 64X.
When the SWAT team reaches the call center. However, once they enter the premises, they realize that Wallace's team has beaten them to it. Claiming to override their authority, Pettis, the mercenary leader, demands the SWAT team leave the premises in an imposing manner.
You're not welcome here. Get the fuck out.
Pettis instructs the call center employees to evacuate in preparation for Adam's assault, which does not bode well with Rico.
This place prints money. No one's shutting it down.
And the two get into an argument. Adam discreetly blends into the FBI SWAT team, who are strategizing their next course of action.
The other option, instead of going in, is to smoke them out.
When he finally gives away his identity, the men attempt to detain Adam, but are no match for him. Holding a SWAT member hostage, Adam breaks into the Ninepoint building. At the call center, Rico makes contact with Derek, explaining the situation with Pettis. Even after Pettis warns him against the dangers of Adam, Derek is determined to keep his call center running.
Now listen, that place is the crown jewel of my kingdom. I'm not gonna let some crash test dummy with a fucking gun fuck it up. Is that clear, Mr. Pettis?
Left with no choice, Pettis dismisses his team. By then, Adam has already sneaked into the call center. The scammers gasp in shock when they finally come to their senses. Nevertheless, Adam offers them the chance to evacuate before he springs into action. While Rico attempts to bargain with him, Pettis shows up pointing his gun at Adam. After swiftly knocking a scammer out cold, Adam makes his escape amidst the shootout. However, Pettis and his men relentlessly give chase. Adam hides in the ceiling and proceeds to set up a trap. Some of the mercenaries got tricked by Adam's bait, thinking one of their men is down. Adam grabs the opportunity and quickly kills them. As Pettis and the rest of the men approach, Adam turns on the fire alarm, catching them off guard. He then snatches Pettis' gun and fires at his men before the two engage in a combat. Though with a knife, Pettis remains no match for Adam, who eventually knocks him out with a fire extinguisher. At the same time, Verona and the Boston police arrive at the scene. Adam sets up an ambush for the SWAT team members. After they follow him into an elevator, the SWAT members start shooting at the top of the elevator where Adam is hiding. To their horror, however, he detonates the elevator cable, which sends the elevator and its occupants crashing down. Having witnessed what he is capable of, Verona suggests the rest of them take the stairs instead. Meanwhile, Adam returns to the call center and torments Rico in an attempt to get intel from him.
They'll kill me.
I'll touch you, then kill you.
Seeing as Rico remains unfaltering, Adam changes to a softer approach. He shows Rico a photo of Eloise explaining her charitable deeds and why she took her life. Moved by his words, Rico finally reveals to Adam the powerful force backing the organization.
I told you they were untouchable.
Nobody's untouchable.
At that moment, Verona and her team arrive at the call center. She tries to convince Adam to let the law take care of things, but he has stopped believing in it long ago and prefers to take things into his own hands. As Adam makes his escape, he encounters Wiley, who assumes the former is going to kill him. To Wiley's surprise, Adam merely empties out the bullets from his gun and walks away, leaving Wiley unharmed. Rico and the other scammers are arrested by Verona and the Boston police, but Adam vanishes again. During the investigation, Verona and Wiley discover that Derek Danforth is not just a powerful tech CEO, he's also the son of President Jessica Danforth.
Sometimes when the hive is out of balance, you have to replace the queen.
The pieces begin to align with Adam's mission. Like worker bees purging an inferior queen, Adam seems to be enacting the metaphor of the beekeepers, eliminating threats at the root, even if that root is presidential. In the midst of dinner, Derek and Wallace excuse themselves to discuss the latest development at the Ninepoint Center. Left with no choice, they decide to use Jessica for protection.
He can't make his move on us if we're in her proximity, can he?
They assume that Adam won't dare strike so close to the president. As such, Derek asks to join Jessica at the beach house for the weekend, and the latter agrees without suspecting anything. Noticing the dilemma Verona is in, Wiley persuades her to leave Adam be, since his target is responsible for her mother's death. Nonetheless, Verona's conscience could not allow her to just sit by and watch.
Even if he's right?
Even if he's right.
In the meeting with Prigg, she reveals the details of the operation behind 9-Star United and the involvement of Jessica and Danforth Enterprises in the whole situation.
She self-financed her campaign.
Yeah. None of that money was clean.
Realizing the potential impact of the truth, Prigg urges them to keep things wrapped under covers for now. Using the metaphor of queen slayers and beehives, Verona hypothesizes that the next person Adam is going after is, in fact, Jessica. At the Danforth's coastal estate, Verona and Wiley manage to gain access to the premises after showing their FBI identification cards. Fearing for Jessica's life, the FBI, Secret Service counter-assault team, and Derek's private mercenaries unite to secure the estate. Unsatisfied with the Secret Services, Wallace and Derek get into a row. Joining them is Lazarus, a hulking beekeeper killer who merely got lucky, albeit losing his leg. Jessica soon arrives with her entourage, evidently displeased with the exaggerated security reinforcement.
When the fuck are you going to tell me what's going on, Wallace?
Meanwhile, Adam hides under one of the trucks while the guards are conducting an inspection. When discovered by a Secret Service agent, Adam seizes the chance and knocks him down. He then changes into the man's uniform and infiltrates the mansion, posing as one of the Secret Service agents. In the study, Derek and his mother share a light conversation. Though Jessica gets suspicious about Wallace's strange behavior.
Why does Wallace Westward look nervous as a burning cat? What have you done to the man?
Derek pretends to be oblivious to it. At the same time, more mercenaries join Lazarus at the estate, all hyped up. By then, Adam has changed out of the Secret Service's uniform and into a suit. While Prig engages in conversation with Jessica, Verona wonders if they have done the right thing. Later on, Jessica and Derek join Prig in a private meeting, where Prig raises his concerns about the source of Jessica's campaign funds. He also questions Derek about the background of UDG and 9-Star United.
What do you know about a classified algorithmic data mining software package developed by the intelligence community?
But the latter only answers him ambiguously. Adam is spotted by Verona, who alerts everyone and gives chase, but loses him in the chaos. Nevertheless, they soon track him down in the garden. Seemingly unarmed, Adam is forced to go on his knees by Lazarus, who has a gun pointing at his head.
To be or not to be?
With a nod of approval from Wallace, Lazarus is about to finish Adam off when the man detonates a vehicle nearby, catching everyone off guard. Adam then begins a violent advance through mercenaries and Secret Service agents. Simultaneously, Derek reveals the full extent of his crimes when Prig confronts him about the scam operation. He used CIA algorithms designed by Wallace to orchestrate massive data fraud and manipulated key swing states to help Jessica win the presidency.
You realize that you were behind in 15 of 20 counties you needed to win. I taught CIA software to hunt money and not terrorists.
Disgusted, Jessica vows to go public with the truth, regardless of the consequences. After taking down countless mercenaries and agents, Adam ultimately engages in a vicious knife fight with Lazarus, whom he kills eventually. He then confronts Wallace, who tries to persuade him to stand down.
Beekeepers live for the good of society.
However, Adam responds by injuring him and proceeds to detonate the door to the room where Derek, Jessica, and Prig are. Panicking, Derek whips out a gun and shoots Prig, taking Jessica hostage, just as Adam, Verona, and Wiley burst into the room. Adam stares at the ocean outside the window, contemplating before he asks whose side Verona is on.
You decide who you work for.
When Derek tries to kill Jessica, Adam shoots him, saving her life. He then escapes through a window and heads to the beach. Verona catches up to him and holds him at gunpoint. But after everything, she chooses not to pull the trigger. After retrieving a hidden scuba set, Adam disappears beneath the waves, his mission complete, leaving behind only the hum of justice and vengeance served.